I want to tell you a quick story. It's a story about a time when I had to prepare for a Korean vocabulary test. Now, this exam was going to be extremely hard, so I stayed up late and I also got up early the morning of the test. As I laid in my bed around 4:30 a.m. trying to memorize and trying to master the vocabulary, I got frustrated. You see, I had been studying very diligently, but for some reason, I couldn't remember the definitions. I couldn't remember the example sentences, and I had reached my wit's end. I didn't know what to do. Now, my roommate was sleeping below me on the bunk underneath my bunk, so I had to remain quiet, but the frustration was written all over my face. Why was I having such a hard time mastering the vocabulary? Now, you probably have had a similar experience. You've studied English vocabulary, but for some reason, you haven't been able to master it. When you speak, you forget words. When someone else uses a vocabulary word, you don't know what it means. Well, if you've ever experienced that, this lesson is for you, because today I'm going to teach you 3 steps to actually, finally master English vocabulary. I'm Teacher Tiffany. Let's jump right in. All right, just like I mentioned in my story, you want to master English vocabulary. You wonder, how can you find more vocabulary? How can you remember the vocabulary words? And then how can you apply the vocabulary that you actually learn? Well, the first step is 10 vocabulary words. Now, let me explain what that means. You see, the first thing you need to do is find 10 words, and you can find them in magazines, books, online, or even TV programs you watch. Now, very quickly, I want to explain this to you guys. These are 10 random English words, but they must be words that you currently don't know. You can find them wherever you see them, online or in books or anywhere you see them. Just pick 10. That's right, 10 vocabulary words. And I'm specifying 10 because sometimes when you're trying to master English vocabulary, you may think that it's best to find a long list of vocabulary words. But in actuality, just using these 10 words will help you be able to comprehend and retain or keep the information, okay? So let's go back to my screen. Now, again, guys, remember I said wherever you find the vocabulary words. So it helps, though, if they are connected to your interests, things that you like to read about or watch. Now, the next step is you want to write the definitions. Look up the definition for each word and write it down in your notebook. Also write 1 sentence. Now, this is very important because writing them down is a key to the learning process. Now, for those of you that follow me on Instagram or see me on Facebook, you know that I keep a lot of notebooks. And the reason is because I am well aware of the fact that by writing, you actually help your brain retain information. So, going back to my screen now, guys, if you keep a notebook, this will help you. Now, after you've written the definitions, you want to memorize them. So memorize the definitions and make sure you know them well, okay? Practice until you know them well. There's a very common and popular expression in English. We say, know something like the back of your hand. That means you know it so well that it is almost impossible to forget it. That is a key for this step. Remember, step number 1 is finding 10 words, writing the definitions, and then memorizing them. This is all part of step 1, okay? All right, now going back, let me show you an example of how you would do this. So let's jump right into the example. So I've chosen 10 words: acceptable, accumulate, accurate, accustomed, acquire, adequate, adjust, advantage, aggressive, and agile. Now, once again, guys, I chose these words randomly, okay? So they didn't have to be connected to each other at all. I just chose 10 random words. The same thing you guys need to do for the first step, okay? All right, now going back to my example. Next, I have my notebook right here. Now organize the words, the definitions, and the example sentences. So let's zoom in real quick so you guys can see exactly what I have done. So you'll notice on top, I wrote the title or the section, okay? Then I wrote the definition using the words that I understand. Let me explain that. So sometimes when you are learning English vocabulary, you will look in the dictionary and you don't understand the way the meaning is written. So look in other dictionaries until you find the meaning that you're able to understand. That's the one you want to write down. So example, if you find a meaning for a word that uses words you don't know, that's not the meaning you want to write down. Find an explanation for the word that you can fully understand, okay? All right, now after you've done that, you need to make sure you know and understand the example sentences, okay? So again, we have the title, the word with the definition, and then the example sentence, okay? You want to make sure your notebooks are organized, okay? If you have more than one notebook, make sure they are all organized. This will really help you as you study English and try to master English vocabulary. All right, so step 1 is done. Now let's move on to step number 2. Step number 2 is 3 image connections. Now, for those of you who have studied with me for a long time, whether you're in my academy or whether you follow me on other platforms, or even if you've seen some of my other YouTube videos, you know how much I love to use images as a connection because I am a visual learner. Images help you to make triggers as you're studying. So let's keep going and I'll help you, okay? All right, so going back to my screen, here we go. Now, the first thing is you need to find 3 images. You can find them online or in a magazine, and they can be random images. Any image that catches your eye. Now, the expression catch your eye means something that makes you want to look again. You're looking this way and suddenly you zoom in or focus on something. So sometimes there are images that look more interesting to you. Select those images. Again, any image that catches your eye, select 3 of them, okay? All right, now, after you have your images, what you're going to do is you want to think creatively. Study each image carefully and try to guess what is going on. You can use the 5 W's as you think. Remember, your goal is to create a story that answers the 5 W's. Who, what, when, where, and why. So let's say, for example, I love food, which is true, and I love to cook. So when I'm online and I'm looking at pictures, I may see a picture of some amazing food. Well, that picture caught my eye because I like to look at pictures of food. So now I have my picture, but I must think creatively. Well, who made that food? Or why did they make the food? Where are they? So in my mind, I'm making up my own story about that image. This is very important and key for you to understand the vocabulary and also helping you to think in English, okay? So I have my image and I've thought creatively about the image, right? Now, the next thing you have to do, again, this is all part of step 2, you need to connect and write. So connect each image by creating a sentence about the images using each word. So you should make 30 sentences. Now let's see this in an actual example, okay? So really quick, your notebook is going to look like this. 3 topics and 10 sentences for each topic. But each sentence will have one of the words. So here we go. Now, again, we have the same 10 words. That's something I want you guys to remember. We are still working with the same 10 words that we chose in step 1, okay? So now going back to my screen, our 10 words: acceptable, accumulate, accurate, accustomed, acquire, adequate, adjust, advantage, aggressive, and agile. Making sure you guys have the right pronunciation. Now right here, I have my 3 images. Then going over to the right side, you'll see that I've chosen one of the images just to show you, and I've made 10 sentences about the image using the 10 words. So let's get closer, okay? Now again, describe the image. So you see that I have 10 sentences and each one includes one of the 10 words. But let's look at one or two of the sentences a little bit closer so you can see exactly what I did. And I want to show you that I actually described the image. So here we go. All right, so let's see number 2. Well, my second sentence is, they have accumulated a lot of plants. Okay, so again, remember the word accumulated means to grab or gather, to have gathered a lot, okay? So I'm saying that they have accumulated a lot of plants, and then I'm pointing to the plant that's in the picture. Again, I thought creatively about the picture. Maybe it's an office building and they actually have a lot of plants. So I'm able to use the word accumulated to describe this image, okay? Let's look at another one. Here we go. The next one, let's see number 3. He told the woman on the phone the accurate time. Well, again, we see that this man is on the phone right here and there's a woman in the picture. So maybe the man is also talking to someone on the phone who happens to be a female. Again, we're just creatively thinking about the situation, okay? Now, I do want you to remember something. Look at the bottom right of your screen. Remember to look closely at every part of the image. This is going to help you as you create your sentences, okay? So again, you're going to do this for each image. So I did it for one image and I have 10 sentences. So the other 2 images need to have the same thing done to them. 10 sentences and another 10 sentences. The total will be 30 sentences. This is step number 2. Now let's move on to step number 3. Now step number 3 is 3 topic connections. All right, so this is what's going to happen with step number 3. You need to select 3 topics, any random topics that you want, and then they can come from your own ideas or from an online list. So the same thing that I said before regarding the images also applies to the topics. Any topic you want. You can say sports, you can say family, you can say art, you can say food. Whatever topics you want to choose, it's okay. Whatever you're interested in, okay? Now, what you're going to do is, again, for the third step, you need to remember, okay, any topic, but remember that you need to think creatively. Study each topic carefully and try to figure out a way to connect the words. Remember, this will really help you begin to think in English. So guys, what you're noticing is that even though we're talking about mastering English vocabulary, one thing that is very important is thinking creatively. So I'm trying to teach you or help you think in English because that actually leads to mastering English vocabulary, okay? All right, now the last part of this is, for step number 3, is that you need to connect and write. So connect each topic by creating a sentence about the topics using each word. So just like our previous step, you should make 30 sentences. So here we go. Remember, this may seem challenging at first, but the more you do it, the better you will get. Now, guys, this is so true. The more you do this, the better you are going to become. Now, again, just very quickly, some of you know that actually in my academy, I have other courses on vocabulary and also other courses on teaching you how to think properly in English. So as you're doing this lesson or as you're following along with this video lesson, if you feel that you want to study with me more and learn even more, the link is right here on your screen and it's also in the description, and I would love to have you as a student. All right. Okay. Now let's go back to the example so we can see exactly how to put this into practice. Here we go. Now you see that I have chosen 3 topics. I chose friendship, business, and travel. Now again, I just chose 3 topics that I'm interested in. Why? I love my friends, I love business, and I also love to travel. So I chose those 3 topics. I wasn't thinking about the 10 words at all. But now I have to connect the 10 words to the 3 topics I chose. So here we go. Now what I'm going to do is show you how I connected them to the topic of friendship. You'll see right here on the right side of your screen, I've already made 10 sentences for friendship. Now let's zoom in a little bit more. So again, the topic is friendship. Well, the first sentence is, his conduct wasn't acceptable as a friend. So you'll see what's happening, guys. The topic is very broad. It's friendship. Now, all of these vocabulary words, probably at the beginning, you didn't understand how I was going to connect those words to this topic because they don't seem to be connected at all. That's where your creativity comes into play. You can think of a way to connect them, okay? Now, let's keep going. I'm going to show you how I connected the other words as well. Number 2. I have accumulated lots of memories with my friends. Well, that's actually very true. My friends and I have went on many trips together. We've done many things together. So we've gathered up and collected or accumulated lots of memories, okay? Now, the next sentence is, his statement about me was accurate because he is my friend. Very easy. Next, I am accustomed to making friends. Now remember, the word accustomed just means to get used to be comfortable with. Now again, I thought creatively. What am I accustomed to? What am I comfortable with when it comes to friendship? You see how I did that, right? Okay, you can do the same thing. Remember, it's possible. Just follow these 3 steps, okay? All right, next, moving on. Number 5. I acquired many things due to my friend's help. Next, number 6, my friend's advice was more than adequate or proper or useful. Number 7, I have to adjust to life again because my friends moved away. Okay. 8, one of the advantages is that my friend lives there. Good. Number 9, my friend can be a bit aggressive when she gets angry. And number 10, my close friend is as agile as a cheetah. So guys, you see what happened, right? These were 10 words that really had no connection in the beginning to the 3 topics we chose. But one of those topics was friendship. And after thinking creatively, I was able to connect friendship and the 10 random words I selected in step number 1. All right, guys. Now, I taught you guys these 3 steps on how to master English vocabulary. I really hope that you guys enjoyed this lesson. Remember, if you want to keep studying with me, all you have to do is click the link in the description to join the Speak English with Tiffani Academy. Now, if you want to study this lesson again and print out the PDF, you can hit the PDF that's currently on your screen by clicking the link in the description below, okay? I want to give it to you guys as a free gift. So click the link in the description to download the PDF, and you can also click the other link to join my academy. I'll talk to you guys in the next video.